Hello, this is Warpath 1985 speaking. In today's New Year's special, or technically New Year's Eve, as we're discussing the Transformers Haslab Victory Saber from Transformers Victory. Now, this is of course a homage to the various characters from Transformers Victory. Now, this is technically more or less a box set than an actual figure. The same applies to pretty much everything else except for best to describe Unicron and a couple other much larger figures that more or less stand around 32 to 50 inches, basically. While those usually come with a couple figures, like some of the Marvel ones, they usually just come with accessories and etc. Well, this one's more or less a full-on box set with all sorts of figures from that show and all sorts of little fun details. Now, the first figures I'll be discussing in this portion of the video will be the Micromasters that are included, Holi and Fire. These guys from Transformers Siege. Now, this is, if I recall correctly, this is Stakeout from Transformers Siege, also known as Transformers G1, etc. But in Japan, he was called Holi, and it was considered to be a much more younger character because Micromasters were treated at anime as more or less kids and actual adults, or commandos, or whatever. But anyways, here's a person with Stakeout and Holi. Now, Holi did get this general color scheme much later in like a magazine. However, the majority of this show, or general anime, including special, had this color scheme, which is more or less based on a Japanese police car. You can tell by the black front section and the general black and white accents, unlike the more American style black and white color scheme, where it's more or less black is the general color and white's kind of like the secondary color. Now, of course, Holi can transform. They're just showing it right now because it's a very easy transformation. However, just like its counterpart, it does have a key issue where it's kind of universal, where sometimes the legs will just pop off. But that usually happens when you're transferring it from the car instead of into the car. However, sometimes that will happen if you're really rough with the figure. However, I'm kind of, because I have very large hands, but in this case, not so much. You can see it here. Looks very nice. And Holi, I believe, I should know, I'm thinking about Road Police, who has like a little police emblem on the rear. But yeah. Very nice. Fire is basically a reuse of Red Spot from Siege. Whoop, there goes his legs. So here's a comparison with Fire and Red Spot. I'll use them again because this one's a lot more harder to pick up instead of being over there because these are quite bright colors. Now you definitely tell that Fire is much more lighter or more darker shade of red instead of the much more cherry red, or not cherry red, but much more fiery red per se of Red Spot. And this was more the continuing colors or painting colors with the Party Blue, which is very much consistent with the rest of the Rescue Patrol from Japan. Now, the interesting part is that both of them turn into fire trucks, but both of them are more or less reuses of the same mold from Big Shot from Siege as well, which means that they have this really weird front section where it looks more like a military truck instead of a fire engine. Now, the QC part is that every single version of this mold of Fire has a problem where if you plug it in all the way into the actual vehicle mode, it will start to splay out. But to more or less prevent that, you kind of have to not put the legs together all the way and put in like that, which works a little bit. However, it's not much harder to display it because I'm pretty much looking through the actual camera, and yeah, it's not really working to my favor. But yeah, it's basically the same thing, but a little less paint in the front, because the majority of the paint was pretty much taken up by these figures. And of course, I have both of them. The fire engine's hose can deploy out. And where you go? There he is. Very nice. Set this off to the side. Other accessories are, of course, the blast effects, which are reuses of the Jetfire / Skyfire siege figures blast effects, but they're in this turquoise color, which is also reused technically for the Arc figure, but it was much more darker turquoise. The other figure I'll be discussing is Saber himself. The reason why, because this is a very small figure. And, yep. Just lower down the camera. So Saber himself is a Brainmaster, if you don't know. And Brainmasters are very small. For comparison, here he is with a couple other figures. After much turmoil, of course, I finally put them all together. And as you can see, the Brainmaster himself, also known as Saber, is in that weird in-between shades where he's smaller than the Headmaster, but he is also still much bigger than a little Arc / Unicron minifigure. So yeah, pretty small. The reason why is that instead of being like the full head or the engine for like these little Titan Masters, because Titan Masters were pretty much used as both Power Masters, Pretenders, oddly enough, and Headmasters as well. And basically what they had to do is that they had to, of course, turn it to a head, with the full head, and they also had to like turn to Power Masters, so that'd be like this, or Pretenders, which was the other thing where it pretty much had to just be a little warm mode like this, and a couple other different things. I'll put images of all those right here. However, the Power Master one was only ever really used for Dark Shadow or Dark Sky, I can't remember his name, and of course Overlord and Giga and Mega as well. And the reason why he's so small is because instead of becoming the full head, he actually becomes the face. But I'll be mostly be showing that much later. But I'm just showing that small little preview for now. Now the first part of this general vehicle set per se is Saber himself in his jet mode, because this is Saber also, because he's a Brainmaster and etc, etc. Japanese shenanigans aside. Where's logic, because Sentai are kind of weird. Or Super Sentai. So hard to explain. But yeah, small little jet. It's not really based off anything. It's more or less your standard little Super Sentai styled jet, where it's kind of very much based on everything, but it's basically its own little thing. And of course, it's hiding like a giant robot underneath. Japan never change. Just probably zoom a little more because I'll be talking about this component here, which is Victory Leo in his vehicle mode. Now, of course, I think I have a little previous aside. Victory Leo is pretty much a flying brick. However, Victory Leo can also turn into a lion as well, but I'll be showing that off later. And of course, you can still have the cannons for the world mode and line mode on the vehicle mode as well. And also have the massive V-Lock cannon attached to the vehicle mode as well, not just jet mode. And sadly, because of the general difficulties of this entire figure set being the giant combinable piece, whatever, and etc, etc, the line mode is, or not line mode, but more the line head is exposed. But it's fine, because it does cover up when you put the V-Lock cannon onto the actual vehicle mode or jet mode. However, it's still pretty nice. Little flying brick. And if you're curious, yes, you can seat Saber inside his little jet, like so, which is very nice. Now for the final general component is more or less the little I forgot the name of it, probably the name of it here, which is generally the little component piece that makes up Star Saber himself. But yeah, probably call it like the Saber booster, I don't know. But yeah, it's just a giant little booster piece that attaches to the normal jet. It's very nice. It has a bunch of guns which can elevate like so. And the wings can also adjust a little bit. And it also has to include a flight stand where, let's move it over here, where it just says, more or less, not really says, but it has the General Victory emblem that was very much known, more or less known, and was very popularly used back in 1989, I believe, or was it 90? Can't remember when Victory exactly came up. There's an actual date here if I want to. But yeah, it does include a flight stand as well, which can be used as a vehicle stand like this, and as a normal figure stand like this. However, we'll be talking about that much later. I'm gonna get to the figures, slash combine mode, slash whatever. But yeah, and yes, this is all made of clear plastic. However, it's much more rigid per se, which means it probably lasts a little bit longer. However, it probably will break someday. We must get really stressed or warped. So far, it's doing pretty good a year in building this figure. Now, the next general component slash gimmick type of piece is that you can combine both the jet into the booster per se, and pretty much it just slides into there and pegs in. At least I presume so, right? Yes, I do. I had to move the wings up around for the plug-in, and of course this needed a lot of force. Now I was wondering why I couldn't really go in all the way. It's mostly just because I had the rear wings in the wrong way. Supposed to put them down, side up. But yeah, here's the jet inside the little booster. It's very nice, and you can feel that it has gained a lot more weight when you put in the little jet. No worry, the thing's pretty heavy. Now, of course, you can put the booster and the jet, or let's put the extra name here, if it was, I should call it anime, and of course toy in there, like so. Which looks very nice. However, we're removing it for now because it also has another gimmick where it can combine with Victory Leo. All it basically needs to do is just attach it to here. But to do that, you're going to have to remove the shield, move the little adapter for the shield piece, and try your best to pretty much have these little pegs right here to plug into these little ports here. Let's move these up and just shove it in there, because you're actually supposed to put it down here like this. Well, so you're still putting it in like that. I'm more just recommend just moving this piece up like so, and then just slotting it in there, because the line feet actually has these little ports, more pegs here that just slide down there. If there's something angling, you just squeeze on in there like so. Should hear a nice click from all the little ports and pegs. Put back the shield to cover up all those nasty little gaps, and place wherever you want those adapters and the V-lock cannon itself. Of course, you can actually plug in the V-lock cannon like so, I believe. I never be for certain, but just flip out the peg. There'll be the robot peg or the side peg for Victory Leo himself. Just plug it in anywhere you want, but I would just rather have like this. Plug it in there and plug it into here, and this, which is Star Saber slash Saber's little blaster. The reason I didn't mention it earlier is that it kind of doesn't really go anywhere other than just the actual booster itself. I didn't want to mention it until now, since it more or less involves this, which of course just plugs in right there. Here you go. The vehicle combined mode with Victory Leo and Star Saber. And the booster as well. Jet as well. And of course all this can plug on into here. Like so. Until it flies down, but it is quite a interesting little fit. Now here is Victory Leo in Line mode, and yeah, it kind of looks more like a Zord than anything when you think about it. But ultimately, Victory Leo is quite nice in Line mode. Now, of course, you can have this little piece out, and doesn't really matter. It's more just preferences, anyways. I just want to show this off for general video mode stuff. Now, of course, the cannons can also just rotate to have the same articulation as the vehicle mode's cannons. The Lion does have an actual main where it can't far out or just leave it nice and closed. The head can rotate kind of side to side and can do various, I don't like features per se, or its expressions. The mouth can open and close. It does have articulated limbs where it can go outwards, inwards, can go forward and back, and the feet can do some articulation where it can go backwards and forwards as well. However, since it's connected to the arms, it kind of just has the fist just poking out every single time you use it. But for the rear hind legs, they also move back and forward, but it has like a tab, which means it can't really do that much. It also not really includes the actual feet, but the feet can move back and forward, and this also includes the actual bottom of the foot, because this is great because it has the heel coming goes upwards to here. So yeah, you can do all that. And if you're curious, you're just gonna have the V-lock cannon attached to here or there or anywhere on the actual line mode. But by there, just have it off for now. I should now do a jump cut to probably the robot mode of Victory Leo, because I'll be seeing Saber's shenanigans much later, because it's a lot more interesting. Or actually, I'll jump to something a lot more strange looking. Now, here's a weird part I was talking about. So, you turn Star Saber's general booster kind of a power suit, whatever, into a little base mode. Now, this is cool in concept, but in reality, it's kind of really weird looking. Now, you think it might have little airlock system ports you can tab in or plug in, whatever, into the rest of the general Earthrise city bots, whatever, or Micromasters city bots. Well, it does not actually. However, you can put Saber himself back here, like so, or you can have your Micromasters do whatever on here, sit back over there, or be in here. It's your general choice. I don't really display him like this, mostly because I think it's kind of really weird looking, and although it's a good idea and concept, and it's a nice little battle station for your little Micromaster city or zone base per se, I don't really do it, and I really rather not express it anymore, because I think it's kind of really boring. However, Victory Leo is not boring, but actually pretty good. Now, of course, because of his general limitations of being a combiner piece, he is very limited in his circulation and general posability. I'm just trying to focus in, but his goal is like make my camera go crazy. Now, of course, he has some problems, like his wrists are very tight, but to really for that, you either have to wait until like age and it kind of just loosens up over time, or do similar how I first got the majority of dots and brothers and grab the blaster, just rotate like that. Now, of course, now they're a lot more looser, because that's what happens when you have like a toy on your shelf for over time. Certain joints loosen up, and also some get tight over time due to dust and etc. Well, the same goes for this guy, because I've been basically him over on my shelf for like a whole year, so that basically means he's fine. But when I first got him, his arms were, more or less his wrists were really tight. However, the rest of his circulation is still pretty tight. His arms can go up and down, but they do clash with the general wings, but you can move them back a little bit, which means you can Pretty much had arms go back a little bit more, but due to the kibble of the lion's feet, it kind of doesn't go that far. Has a nice, very nice over 90-degree elbow bend, and has a very tight wrist joint, as I mentioned before. It's very tight. And just move that back. You can go outward, inward. Head can rotate as well, but due to the lion's mane, it does clash a little bit. Again, take them go upwards to the transformation joint, not really downwards, however. Pardon. And the legs can go forward and have a nice little kick. Backwards, once again, very nice. The ratchets are of course very clickety and clackety, which is very nice as well. And it can't go that far due to the missile pods on the sides. That rather reminiscent of missile pods you see on various helicopters. It does have a nice thigh cut. Can do a pretty decent 90 bend. And has some ankle articulation. However, it is somewhat limited due to how small the ankles are. And it can't really hold its general weight of the figure because this figure is pretty heavy, as you can tell. For accessories, the figure does come with, like I mentioned before, the V-Lock cannon, which can technically, I guess, plug into this little port. Oh, there goes the shield. Into here or here. Also, you have the cannons right here, which you can still put on the side, pretty much like this. But it is a tight little fit, but you can do it nonetheless. And the cannons can't really move directly onto the shoulders, but they can pretty much go upwards like this. It still looks pretty fine. However, it does look pretty weird since they're trying to just floating there. The sculpting and detail also, like it's having a nice chrome gold chest. Very nice, if you ask me. And it's also very nicely posable and very nicely painted. However, mine does have a small little paint chip due to it being released, or more it's my copy of the figure had a little volume QC issues. Nothing really that bad, but it's still pretty notable. Now then, let's talk about Saber himself. Saber, I do recommend this for his Brainmaster. I recommend not putting the SO peg all the way onto the SO Brainmaster on the back because it is very hard to get the general faceplate out, but that happens. Now, the figure does not have light piping, however, the figure does blue plastic for the visor, which I don't know why they made it clear plastic, but it's fine, I guess. The figure itself is pretty good and very nicely painted. It still has, of course, the nice shiny chrome that's on Star Saber's and chest himself, and the general little Star Saber or Saber jet, whatever. Now, for articulation's sake, the figure can only rotate similar to Victory, but it's more limited due to the Brainmaster's little port in there. However, it is increased a lot more with the actual Star Saber figure because all this general junk in the back kind of gets a little bit covered up per se. It can go outward, but it is kind of weird looking. Can go forward, almost the arms, but it does get caught via the kibble and etc. It has a nice, little bit over 90. Actually, it technically is a 90-degree bend at the elbow. The gun is very loose on the figure because it has this weird little detail where it kind of has this weird little cut into that gun. I don't know why they did it, but they did it anyways, and because of that, it's very loose inside the figure's hand. Our mine's a little bit more sturdy, but others are pretty bad, or more or less other copies. As a very limited waist articulation, can do a pretty good ab crunch, or more or less has a good ab crunch due to the general combined mode with the Star Saber and Victory, etc. Has a nice kick. Can't really go that far, but can go that far back. Very decent way. Very nice spread. has a pretty not so very good knee bend, but it is mostly because all the Star Saber bits, and does have a very limited ankle articulation, but just gets caught by the little ankle guards per se, and doesn't have really a foot tilt or anything else. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Saber himself. Alright, let's do this. So, right now, I'm just going to go ahead and plug in Saber himself into the unit. Very nice click. And plug the head onto the main body and over the figure's head. There. And here is Saber in his robot mode, so that's combined mode, or more Star Saber himself. Now the figure itself does come with a bunch of accessories. Just focus on in. Look at that shiny chrome. Of course, the figure can use the shield, the laser pistol, or more blaster now, and the guard for the sword itself, and it has a little adapter for the shield. Now the sword is of course stored onto the figure's calf. Now on the anime, actually, and also the original figure, it was stored onto the back right here, but it can't really do that because modern figure engineering shenanigans. And of course, the figure's sword can plug into the hilt. They call it the guard. I think call it the guard. That's more or less a European thing, but yeah. Plug it onto the hilt. You can just slide it in there, and yeah, looks very nice. Now it can plug in the other way as well, like so. If you want to have the toy way, but I just preferred it being like this. Now when I originally got this figure, it couldn't be plugged on all the way due to the paint being very thick in there. It did make a little bit of flashing in there. However, I was able to shave it down to just make it fit. Now you can grab the shield, and of course plugs in, because there's a little handle right here, into the figure's hand. Like so, or you can have it plugged into the, just find it here, here it is, the figure's arm, just plugs in there like that, like a Gundam, because of course, the person designed Gundam designed this thing. You can also plug the blaster into here, like so, and of course the hands can open and close. The much more smaller system of the Jetfire type of like hand opening system, where it has a little 5mm peg that pops out when the hand is closed, but closes more or less retracts into the actual hand itself. You can also store the bunch of other accessories back here, like so. Just plug in back here, like that, or the shield back there because Gundam shenanigans. For general articulation, the figure can rotate at the head, full 360 in fact, I believe. Actually no, it can do only just like a little bit due to the general Micromasters shenanigans. However, it can also look upwards and a little bit downwards. The arm can go full 360, can go a little bit outwards due to the booster details right here, but I have a very nice over 90 elbow bend. The hands can go inward and a little bit outward technically, when they're like this, but can't do any short snags. We can go up down like this, unlike the Dinobots, which can. It does have an ab crunch. Can do a very nice kick. There you go. Has nice knee bend, and it can go a little bit backwards. Also has a pretty good ankle articulation for its general size and the amount of stuff it has. However, it is very much limited. If I can pull my camera down there, like see right here, ain't much, but it does the job nonetheless. Put these flaps upwards, almost outwards per se, and do a very nice spread as you saw earlier in this little base mode. Yeah. Very nice articulation. Very nice articulation. And for other details, since of course the person that it's in the actual anime more was the person who designed the character, Star Saber, who does also design the Gundam, gave him little tiny Vulcans. Not Vulcan as in Vulcans from Star Trek, as in like Vulcan mini guns or Gatling guns or machine guns. Here and here on the head, which of course were used in anime to shoot out Death Saurus's eye. Was Octet. Put the image. Let's see the scene here. Yep, that happened. And here he is with his buddy Victory Leo. I'm going to mention Victory Leo is that, yes, Victory Leo is a rebuilt version of Jinrai, because Jinrai was killed by, Laukaiser, I think, or was Death Saurus? Can't remember the name here, what actually called him. But he died in the anime, and of course was rebuilt into Victory Leo, who was a vengeful, depressed man, or bot. Now, I should be doing the combined mode for this, and I should be showing it off on camera because it's very simple. And here he is, Victory Saber. And the Vela can just actually transform a little bit, just fold down these various guards. And there we have the Vela cannon, which can plug into the figure's arm. And you can use the little blaster here. Plug in there, either use it as a scope or another tinier blaster, which I use. For other features, the figure can of course use the base plate, which of course plugs in there like so. And actually no, I think I plugged in the wrong way. There you go. And you can of course plug it in like so on here. Work with me. There you go. Which can give you nice flying poses like the first poses he did in National Anime, which is very nice, and firing poses as well, because this thing is very, very big. You of course plug in the little blast effects here and here, there, which is like so. And plug in this one here. Oh, this is very hard. I'm like very far away from the table. I'm also recording this. And plug this one here. Like so. Very, very nice. Now, this figure doesn't really gain that much articulation, especially like the ankles where it's become even more limited. But that's fine, because it's generally like a spectacle type of figure, like your Titan figures, where although they have that much articulation, they just look really good on your shelf. Yes. Here he is with Jetfire. He's not that big compared to Jetfire. He just gets a little boost from this little flight stand, but it's not as big as Jetfire, however. He more clocks around your old leader, not old leader, technical old leader, height, which is weird, not weird, but more or less around 10 to 12 inches per se. It's not that really big, it's just average per se. While modern leaders are more or less lenient 7 to 10 inches. While older leaders were more or less lenient on 10 to sometimes 15 inches. I can't remember how big the Revenge of the Fallen Optimus Prime was. But yeah, it's still big though. Now for final thoughts on this figure, because I won't be talking about any of the other things, because yes, the cannons can still can go up and down. The articulation is somewhat limited because the little cannon right here does clash with the wings, but of course if you do that, you kind of just move the wings outward a little more, just to have it go down like that. But that's an entirely different thing, and it's not really that important to mention. I'll be mentioning it now because it's a thing, I guess. Oh, and I forgot, the sword can actually increase its health if you want to have like him hold it with both hands. But I don't really like pose him like that because I think this pose right now he's in substantial per se. But whatever. For final thoughts, basically, I do recommend this figure because it's really good. But also don't, because this figure is sold out. You only can ever buy it during the general, if you funded the general campaign when it was on back in 2021, right? Yes. And you can't even get it anymore, which is sad when you think about it. But other than that, it's a thing. Many Haslabs are kind of like that, especially with the Razor Crest. However, if you're lucky during like the little was like 5-year anniversary, or was 40-year anniversary of Hasbro, or whatever, or Haslab. I think it was like 5-year anniversary because I think Cookie Monster was like back in 2017, right? Can't remember, or 2018. I can't remember. You could have gotten this figure because I guess it has some leftover stock and a couple other stuff like the Sky Striker, Unicron, etc. But now he's sold out, which is very sucky. And of course, you can't even get it that way anyways because it's more exclusive to premium members, which is an entirely different thing. But yeah, of course, that's all for this New Year's Eve special. I guess like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you for the New Year's Day special, which won't be I guess that long for me to do because I'll probably be doing it after this because my schedule is completely booked. But yeah, that's all for this review. I'll see you for New Year's Day.